Hello again, welcome. My name is Daymare. Today we are going to talk about the top 5 most haunted rooms. Before we begin, if you are new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and if you want to be notified, kindly hit the notification bell. Sit tight and do not watch alone. Number 5, Room 314 in Omni, Mount Washington, New Hampshire, USA. Joseph Stickney built the Mount Washington Hotel in 1900. However, shortly after the doors were opened to the public, Joseph became ill and died, only a few months after the grand opening. Carolyn, his widow, eventually remarried a European prince, but she still visited her late husband's hotel every year. She always stayed in the same room. The room number is 314. Carolyn died in 1936. Afterward, strange things started to occur at the Mount Washington Hotel. People claimed seeing a woman floating through the hotel at night, lights flickering, and a weird woman appearing in the backdrop of several of the hotel's photographs. The Prince's Suite in room 314 of the Omni Mount Washington is thought to be the hub of the hotel's paranormal activity. People have reported seeing a woman at the end of their bed when they wake up. She is sometimes just sitting peacefully, and other times she is unpinning her long hair slowly. Others have awoken to find a pleasant floral perfume filling the area. Carolyn's original 4-poster bed can be found in room 314. Perhaps she still has feelings for it. The possibility to view the exquisite Carolyn by staying in room 314 draws paranormal fans in droves. Number 4, Room 8 in Russell Hotel, Sydney. The Russell Hotel is said to be one of Sydney's most haunted hotels, with a grim history engraved into its very core. The hotel was erected in 1887, but its foundations were formerly a convicts' hospital, where many people died, some of them as a result of a bubonic plague outbreak that ravaged the area in the 18th century. It was also a sailor's home, and was reported to have been a brothel at one time. Its history is also strewn with blood, as murders have occurred within its confines. In the 19th century, a prostitute murdered a sailor, and Senior Constable Henry Murrow died within the hotel. People who have stayed at the hotel have claimed hearing footsteps late at night, seeing lights turn off and on by themselves, experiencing abrupt temperature drops, and hearing screams emanating from vacant rooms. Room 8 has become a hub for paranormal activity in this hotel, despite the fact that the entire hotel is supposed to be haunted. This was the location of the sailor's murder. Guests have reported seeing the deceased sailor standing at the foot of their bed when they wake up. However, he exclusively appears to lone female guests. Number 3, the Torture Chamber in Chillingham Castle, England. This infamous fortress, which dates back to the 1300s, has a gory history, with much of it spilled in its own torture chamber. John Sage, one of the most known torturers, was in charge of this torture chamber. During his time as chamber master at Chillingham Castle, a vicious individual is alleged to have happily tortured and killed thousands of Scots for the English. To torture his victims, he even devised his own torture devices. Today, you can visit and walk around this bleak part of history. The rack, the barrel, where individuals were thrown in a barrel with nails jutting out and rolled down the hill, and an Iron Maiden are among the ancient torture tools still on display. This room is not for the faint of heart. According to legend, John Sage never left his room. Sage's malicious presence is reported to still linger in this eerie place. When guests explore the chamber, they report emotions of evil and malice, an overwhelming sense that someone is attempting to harm them. Screams have also been heard. Possibly the victims of Sage who are still alive are haunting the spot where they were tormented. Sage is claimed to have been slain by a gang of Scots who hanged him from a tree in retaliation for what he had done to their people. Number 2, room 333 in Langham Hotel, London. The Langham Hotel, often referred to as London's most haunted hotel, is supposed to be haunted by multiple ghosts, not just one. Room 333 is said to be the most haunted room in the hotel. According to reports, a doctor murdered his wife in room 333 before killing himself. He's still around, tormenting those who spend the night in the cursed room. A guest reported seeing a luminous bowl that materialized into a guy without legs when he awakened. The legless phantom began to approach the guest, who bolted from the room in panic. Others have experienced taps turning on by themselves and a malicious feeling suffocating them as they enter the room. There could be a slew of other spirits roaming the hallways of the Langham. For instance, a butler who tries to help customers on the third floor even after death, a ghost with a hole in their face who walks the halls, and, perhaps most intriguingly, the spirit of Napoleon III, who once stayed at the Langham, is claimed to roam the hotel's basement. Number 1. The Lost Dungeon in Leap Castle, Ireland. Built in 1250, though some sources say the early 1500s, Leap Castle in Ireland has seen a lot of death throughout its long history. The subterranean dungeon, in particular, has witnessed a great deal of misery. Under the Bloody Chapel, a little subterranean dungeon was uncovered. It is thought the prisoners would be lowered inside through a small trapdoor and allowed to starve to death. This type of dungeon was known as an oubliette, which comes from the French word oublier meaning to forget. Hundreds of people spent their final moments in this dark chamber. The Bloody Chapel, which is located above the dungeon, is also claimed to be haunted, specifically by an elderly priest who was assassinated within the church by his own brother. People have reported seeing the chapel window blazing with dazzling lights in the dead of night, without anyone inside, and it is alleged he now haunts the stairway by the chapel. The courageous can stroll through the Bloody Chapel during their visit to Leap Castle, which is known as Ireland's most haunted castle. Always remember to turn on the lights before you sleep. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Thank you for watching. Until our next story time.